Welcome to 99th Monkey Liberty News for Friday, February 21st, 2014. And tomorrow is the anniversary of George Washington's birthday. So wishing you a happy George Washington's birthday, and thanks, George Washington, for all you did for this country. Our first article of the day is from Politico magazine. Venezuela president threatens to expel CNN. This is a bit of a complex issue for liberty people because of course we believe in freedom of the press, but CNN is not Venezuelan's press. So does he have authority to throw out foreign press? Well, considering the record of CNN and what they have done in other countries to contribute to cabal causes, the part of me wants to root for expelling them. And again, it isn't their press. CNN is not Venezuelan. And here's a little blurb. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro threatened to throw CNN out of the country on Thursday if they don't change their coverage of protests and civil unrest in the country. And CNN, by and large, has served as an agent when these uprisings occur to exacerbate and to broadcast to the world the cabal-backed point of view that the protesters that are promoted and funded by the CIA are good, and they're just trying to have freedom in their country. And CNN has been a tool of the cabal in some of those conflicts. So, maybe he's smart. Maybe the Venezuelan president is wise to want to get rid of them. Here's a little more information about what's going on in Venezuela. Venezuelan protests, another attempt by U.S.-backed right-wing groups to oust elected government. And this has been, this is what's going on in the Ukraine now, and these things have just been going on. So I think it's well within wisdom to question what is going on in Venezuela, if this is another similar thing to what is being done in Ukraine. And moving on to some information about Ukraine, this is a YouTube video that has the Secretary of State, Victoria Nuland, actually talking about the amount of money that was spent. And this is where the $5 billion comes from. Ukrainians deserve respect from their government. Well, that's not really what this is about. I mean, I found this in a tweet from Abby Martin where they are actively admitting here that in Washington that they have spent the $5 billion that we've heard about in order to, what they are stating that it's to support democracy, but in reality it is to bring dissent and push forward agendas that serve the cabal. And certainly, to me, the most significant aspect of what's going on in Ukraine is the fact that Ukraine refused to become a part of the European Union. And in order to force that agenda, these people are ruthless, and they will do whatever is required in order to get their agenda, see their agenda accomplished. And here's a little more information on the Ukraine. The Obama regime's insane hypocrisy on Ukraine. And I do have an article that states that they have reached a deal. This from CNBC. Ukraine president and opposition signed crisis deal. And I believe the agreement is for sooner elections. This says Kiev, Ukraine. President Viktor Yanukovych signed a deal with Ukraine's opposition leaders on Friday, brokered to end the deadly violence that put the country on the brink of civil war. He agreed to early elections and to surrender some of his powers after 77 people were killed as a geopolitical tug-of-war over whether Ukraine should embrace the West or Russia turned violent this week. This is CNBC, so this is how they frame it. But the West is not, what we've always been taught to think, that the good guys, democracy, and Russia is not what we've been trained to think, the bad guys, communism. What's really happening here is that the EU wants to be able to claim Ukraine. And of course, Russia, there's a port in Ukraine that's crucial to Russia, and there's a controversy here about a pipeline. These struggles are always about economics. And of course, Russia has an economic agenda, but it seems at this point that the real threat is from cabal agendas, and certainly that includes promoting the EU and forcing the Ukraine to become a part of the EU. So that's an issue. We'll see if this deal holds, and if it, I'll wait to see, listen to some comments to try to find out whether this is a victory for the cabal, or whether it is a true truce, or just what's going on there.
And this just breaking news. I don't think Cindy saw this before she started this, but I was just really encouraged to find that Mila Jovovich, who is in The Fifth Element and some other key shows, has just shared with her huge number of followers Paul Joseph Watson's report on the Ukraine that I think Cindy shared yesterday. So that's huge. That the word is getting out about the Ukraine.
Well, that is good news. That's awesome. I think she is. I know she's Eastern European, and she might actually be Ukrainian. So cheers to Mila Jovovich. And Alex Jones has been saying that he's hoping that celebrities will begin to talk about their truth or views, which he is aware that many of them hold, and that if everybody in Hollywood will come out of the closet as being liberty people, things could turn around very quickly. So thank you, Mila Jovovich. Kudos to you. Here from, was posted by Matt Drudge. It's a CBS article. Study: uninsured patients get better care than insured patients. And because of this being drawn in from another site, this tended to freeze my Firefox. So this is just a screenshot, but the link will be included in the notes, so you can read more for yourself. Because it's a screenshot, I'm not able to scroll. But certainly very interesting information here. From this website called fastcompany.com, the Internet of Things. Cisco gains traction in the connected road race. Cisco wants to give IBM some competition in the Internet-enabled cities space. Tech giant Cisco thinks there's something to all this talk of smart cities, and that connecting roads or license plate readers to the internet is going to be big business. So more technocracy imposed here, tracking certainly of where everybody is all the time, and the web is tightening. Now, interestingly enough, I have thought for some time, when you get in a traffic snag that is people in left-hand lanes on the freeway trying to get over to an exit on the right, and people on the right trying to merge over to the left, if you could coordinate that somehow using computers so that one goes, one goes, one goes, one goes, you might be able to get rid of some traffic snags. If we could trust the system and those who are behind the system, certainly there could be a benefit to using computers to help regulate traffic. But of course, the problem is we cannot trust the people who would be in control of the systems. So this would amount to just surrendering another aspect of our liberty, another aspect of our lives, and becoming more a part of the Borg. So certainly something to be aware of and watch in the future, and maybe protest against. I have here a little more information about technology from Dutch Sense, everything you wanted to know about HAARP, but we're afraid to ask. No, that is not the title of the blog. Want to know about HAARP, directed energy weapons, and weather modification? And Dutch Sense has 4 parts here, so this is really a primer on the information that Dutch Sense has spent a lot of time gathering. And thanks to him for putting this all in one place so that we can become more aware ourselves, and also this is a great place to direct people because, of course, Dutch Sense's videos are always very well thought out, very scientific, and his information is just a great resource. So thanks, Dutch Sense. And here I want to take a deeper look at this Moral Monday issue, and I brought this up earlier in the week. These what they call Moral Mondays in North Carolina, and they've been having these protests. And a week or so ago, they had 100,000 people, over 100,000 people at one of these protests. So here is the list that they're protesting, and this is from an Abby Martin video. Moral Monday concerns: 500,000 people cut from Medicaid, voter ID laws and cuts to early voting, repealing environmental regulations, and ban on same-sex marriage. Now, this is an interesting mix of concerns that I share and concerns that I do not share. And the more in-depth look that I want to take today is considering how the cabal know that there is a lot of deep grassroots sentiment that we are going to be demanding change. So what they are going to be doing is trying to harness that grassroots desire for change and use it to accomplish their own agenda. So I'm thinking that, and we definitely want to join together. I'm, very concerned about what's going on pertaining to the environment in North Carolina. The spill there of the ash. And in a nearby state, West Virginia, they've had 2 toxic spills recently. Very concerned about oil spills. I talk about that a lot, certainly about pollution from other sources such as radioactivity. But so this is in here, which probably most liberty people share this concern. But voter ID laws and cuts to early voting, a lot of liberty people, more conservative liberty people, are not going to agree with this. More conservative liberty people are not going to agree with protesting the ban on same-sex marriage. So as these waters become muddied, intentionally muddied by the cabal, I believe that the best approach for us is to determine who is behind some of these efforts to stir people up and get people to protest. And the same kinds of tricks that are being tried in Venezuela, practiced in the Ukraine, they are probably perfecting those approaches, preparing to try to get Americans into the frames, into the funnels that they're planning for us. So again, we mistakenly and unwittingly serve their agenda. So I believe if we can determine who is behind some of these efforts, And this is a great example. Plan to split California into 6 states gets okay to gather signatures. 6 Californias. And this is from CBS Bay Area. Now, a lot of people in California do want to see the state split. And there is even effort I've mentioned in the past, and Don and I've mentioned in Pearls of Liberty episodes about the state of Jefferson and wanting to create a state that's separate from California that has much more of a liberty bent than what California does. So at first blush, I saw a tweet about this and I was enthusiastic about it. Great! California is going to be split. Okay, so what is behind this? And again, I really believe that we need to constantly look below the surface. Who is supporting this? This is being proposed by Tim Draper, who is a venture capitalist. So, and here's under the plan from venture capitalist Tim Draper, most of the Bay Area would be considered Silicon Valley. Napa, Sonoma, and Marin counties would become part of North California. And the rest of the information about how the split would occur is not clear, although, you know, the boundary lines appear here, 6 different regions. So, who is Tim Draper? Who is Navin Johnson? I looked into Timothy Draper. Who is he? And when I first used Start Page to find information on him, I loaded this Wikipedia page, Timothy C. Draper, and it had a tremendous amount of information about him. Firefox froze, and I had to restart it. And when I reloaded this Wikipedia page, lo and behold, virtually all of the information on Timothy C. Draper, except for his name, was gone. Investigation of potential copyright issue is here on this Wikipedia page in place of all the information on Timothy Draper. So based on some of the things I saw when I was able to learn about who he is, I did some other searches. Tim Draper, yes, he is a venture capitalist, but he also is a producer and actor known for the Naked Brothers Band, the movie, the Startup Kids, and I could click on this if I wanted to see his full bio on IMDb, but I know for a fact that his sister is Polly Draper, and it was easy to find on this page that she is the daughter of Henry Draper III. Okay, who is Henry Draper III? And this is Timothy Draper's father. Henry Draper III is listed as a member of Skull and Bones. So, okay, who is behind this plan to divide California into 6 states? It is the child of a member of Skull and Bones. So should I get behind? Should I be one of the 800,000 signatures that's required to split California up into 6 states? No. This is their agenda. And, you know, my first thought when I saw the map and saw some of where the splits were, I'm guessing that the way they want to divide up California into 6 states probably serves the Agenda 21 plans for rewilding, and it will probably make Agenda 21 easier for them to enforce. So I am certainly not going to get excited about or promote or sign a petition asking for California to be split into 6 states. I believe that the people who want the state of Jefferson have a different plan. And that would be the plan that I would embrace, the grassroots plan that, springs from the people, not from a skull and bones heir. And after that, we need a little bit of good news, right? So this is I have a couple articles here. This is from RT. Colorado's legal pot market far exceeds tax expectations. And of course, we don't really want to give the state more money to mess around with. But scrolling down, some of the uses of this extra tax money are going to seemingly anyway, be beneficial to the people. Some's going to education, and some is going to health, and hopefully will be put to good use. Hopefully not too much of it will be siphoned off into the coffers. Hopefully people will actually benefit from this revenue. But it's actually good news just in light of perhaps being able to encourage other states to also legalize hemp and marijuana. And we can pretty much depend on New Hampshire for good news these days. From nullifynsa.com, 2 anti-surveillance bills pass New Hampshire House Committee. So this is hopefully George Washington's not turning over in his grave too much. If he just is aware of what's going on in New Hampshire, maybe he will feel better about his legacy. And of course, I don't really believe he's in his grave. I believe that he is in heaven and has become a part of the cloud of witnesses that is spoken of in the Bible, that in the book of Hebrews, that is the cloud of witnesses who are watching us. And perhaps we can honor the memory of all those who are in the cloud of witnesses who died for the cause of freedom, and let them know that they did not die in vain, that there are people who are keeping their dream alive. So with that, happy George Washington's birthday tomorrow. And thank you for tuning in for today's 99th Monkey Liberty News. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. Hoping that you will love one another, take care, and insist on liberty.